So we will start with Saturday at noon, and the biggest one, you just mentioned it. It's in the ACC, and we've got Syracuse against Clemson. That's going to be noon on ABC, and Clemson is a 13.5-point favorite. Syracuse, they've played 5 of their first 6 games at home, and they needed some late heroics in 2 of them. I was not really on the Syracuse bandwagon for a while. I thought they were lucky against Purdue. They got the winning touchdown with 7 seconds left. They beat Virginia 22-20. Virginia is nothing to really write home about this year. But I started to look closer at the numbers when I was getting ready for this podcast to see, how Syracuse has been doing it. Garrett Schrader, he's got good numbers, 70% completion. He actually has a higher QB rating than DJ Uiagalelei for Clemson. And only one team has scored more than 20 points against Syracuse. That was Purdue at 29. Purdue has a very good offense. So they're 6th in the nation in scoring defense. Clemson's got that home winning streak and will certainly be a challenge, but Syracuse is basically better than I thought, is my point.
Yeah, they're good. 6-0. You have to go all the way back to 1987 and Don McPherson. I remember actually watching him play, and I had to go back and look. That dude averaged 10.2 yards per attempt, finished second in the Heisman voting. He was one of my favorite quarterbacks for a team I didn't really care about when I was growing up. And
so I was in a bar one time.
Yeah. All right, go. Yeah, just go.
Right after school, I was working at a suburban newspaper in Boston, and we were having a few beers after working. And Don McPherson was at the bar.
Nice.
And we invited him over to our table. We talked to him for like half an hour. Great guy. I remember we were discussing how much we should publicize a high school quarterback if he got in trouble for drinking and had to be suspended, and what was the responsible way to kind of report that in the news, and is a high school quarterback enough of a public figure to discuss that? And he had some interesting thoughts, but it was really cool. It was really that's my Don McPherson memory. He was a cool guy.
I just remember him throwing it deep, and they would dial deep with him. So this is their best team since, and they lost 17-14 to Clemson last year. They slowed them down. Sean Tucker, 157 yards in that game. 5-1 against the spread this season. A lot of reasons to like that line, at least, which we can get into later with our picks. But I still think Clemson wins the game. DJ Uiagalelei is playing great football. 10 touchdowns, 1 interception the last 4 weeks. They're at home. I'll believe it when I see somebody beat them at home. Granted, Syracuse had that close shave with them, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But Clemson's just too good at home. And if you're a playoff hopeful outside of the ACC, you are rooting for Syracuse this weekend. You want Clemson knocked off, because I think it would be easier for Syracuse to get knocked off later.
That close shave you brought up, Chase Bryce came to the rescue for Clemson.
Exactly.
And in place of Trevor Lawrence. That was during their national championship season.